ஸ்ரீராம ஜெயம். ஆழ்வார் ஆச்சாரியார்கள் திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஸ்ரீமதே ராமானுஜாய நமக. ஸ்ரீமதே நிகமாந்த மகாதேசிகாய நமக. கதபிருக்ஷா வழங்கும் சுவாமி தேசிகன் திருநக்ஷத்திர உற்சவம் நிகழ்ச்சியுடைய இன்றைய பகுதிக்கு உங்கள் எல்லாரையும் நான் வெல்கம் பண்ணுறேன். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் நம்ம நேத்திக்கு சுவாமி தேசிகன் அருளி செய்த ஸ்ரீ அபீதிஸ்தவம் ஸ்லோகத்தை கேட்டோம். இன்னைக்கு அதோடைய தொடர்ச்சி 2ஆம் பகுதியில் சுவாமி தேசிகன் எந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சூழ்நிலையில் இந்த ஸ்லோகத்தை எழுதினர், திருவரங்கத்தில் முகலியர்கள் தாக்கம் நடந்தபோது எப்படி ஒரு சூழ்நிலை நிலவித்து அவர் எங்கே இருந்தார், ஏன் இந்த ஸ்லோகம் எழுதினார் அப்படின்றத சொல்லிட்டு முதல் 15 ஸ்லோகத்துக்கான விளக்கங்களையும் டாக்டர் ஸ்ரீவித்யா சத்யமூர்த்தி அவர்கள் இப்போ கொடுக்க போறா. நம்ம எல்லாரும் இப்போ அதை கேட்போம்.
See what Swami Desika's life was and the events leading to the composition of this powerful stotram. Swami Desikan lived in Bharatadesham during 1268 and 1369 CE. He lived a very productive, long life. And during these years, he witnessed several events of history. This influenced his compositions. He made a huge contribution to Swami Ramanuja's philosophy of Vishishtadvaita. He was given the title Vedantacharya by Lord Sri Ranganatha himself and the title Sarvatantra Swatantrar by Sri Ranganayaki herself in connection with the invasion of Sri Rangam and the composition of Abheethistavam. Most of the invasions happened in the year 1311 by Malik Kafur, a general in Alauddin Khilji's army, when the Swami was only 43 years old. After defeating the Kakatiyas, Yadavas and the Hoysala kings, Malik Kafur forced them to come under the control of the Delhi Sultanate. Then he continued to Pandyanadu. In March 1311, Kafur's army entered the Pandya Empire. When he tried to capture Veerapandya, Kulashekara Pandya's son, he failed to do that, and he went on to destroy the temple at Chidambaram. After that, he turned to the famous Srirangam Kovil. Kafur's army desecrated the Srirangam temple, entering from the northern enclosures. They overpowered the Vaishnava saints within the temple, looted the temple, and stole the temple's wealth. This was a precursor to what was going to happen 12 years later. Another invasion by Ulugh Khan followed during 1323 CE, when Swami Desika was 55 years old. In 1320, the Khilji dynasty was overthrown by Ghazi Malik, who is an Indian Turkic slave descendant who established the Tughlaq dynasty. In 1321, with the intent of completely controlling the Dravidian lands, meaning Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, he sent a massive army to the south. The army was led by his eldest son, Ulugh Khan. But Ulugh Khan was defeated at Warangal. He tried again in 1923. His forces this time conquered Warangal and Tondai Mandalam. They next came to Srirangam, and this second invasion, despite already stealing the wealth, with an intent to demolish and desecrate it. These cruel and barbaric acts are recorded in works such as Guru Paramparai, Prapanna Amrutam, Acharya Sukti, Muktavali, and the Kovil Oluga. This is how it's reported to have happened. At Srirangam, a Kovil Utsavam was going on as Ulugh Khan's army was marching towards the temple. The Urgolam of Sri Ranganatha Swami, along with 12,000 Sri Vaishnavas, proceeding from the main temple to another temple along the bank of Kaveri. Sri Ranga Rajanathan, the chief priest, he heard about the army and he tried to disperse the procession. But they stayed on. He arranged Pillai Lokacharya to secretly transport the Utsavamurthy to the south, which he did, and he died soon after. Ulugh Khan's army reached Srirangam and desecrated the temple. When Ulugh Khan learnt that Utsavar was already gone, he was enraged and he ordered the beheading of 12,000 Sri Vaishnavas. The Kovil Oluga has called this incident as Pannirayiram Tirumudi Tiruthiya Kalabam, meaning the invasion which took 12,000 heads. The idol subsequently wandered from temple to temple for several years across South India and ultimately reached Tirumala, where it stayed for decades. So during the second invasion, many Bhagavatas, including Desikan, are said to have lain among the dead Bhagavatas, pretending to be dead, in order to save as many lives as possible, including 2 young sons of Sudarshana Bhattar and his composition of Shruta Prakashika, the commentary on Sri Bhashyam of Sri Ramanujar. Because Swami Desikan had great respect for Sri Bhashyam, Swami agreed to leave with the composition and the 2 sons. He went to Satyamangalam, where he had already stayed once in the past. He lived there for many years, during which he gave discourses or pravachanams on Shruta Prakashika and raised the 2 sons of the Bhattar as his own. During this feeling of intense separation from Sri Ranganatha, he composed Abheethistavam. It is said that he recited daily the Stavam on Ranganatha for 40 years. Finally, peace returned to Sri Rangam as a result of the victory of the Chenji king Kumara Kampanna Udayar, who helped reinstall the temple Utsavars in 1371. And then Swami Desikan returned to Sri Rangam to serve his favorite Perumal for the rest of his life. Now, let us look at the meaning of the Slokas. Once again, I would like to remind everyone this is my humble understanding, and please forgive me for any mistakes. In the first slokam, Swami Desikan has said that he contemplates with humility before the resplendent Ranganatha. Mahaha, he says, who is with Tayar, Sri Ranganayaki, at Sri Rangam. Ramasakham Rangadhuryam Yatad. He says that there is a great divine force from Sri Ranganatha that generates the fearlessness in those who seek protection. Yat jusham abhitihi. And it causes fear in those who disregard it. Yat avadhiritanam bhayam. In the second slokam, Swami Desikan prays that the divine force or Mahaha or Tejas with Mahalakshmi, who has intense compassion for her children, Daya Shishirata, Ashraya Shreya, she lives on his chest. Now, Swami Desikan is asking that this Tejas would permanently come into his heart. In the next few shlokas, he praises the greatness of the Lord, who all the different gods revere and respect. And he prays for him to accept this humble praise from an ignoramus like me, he says, who is filled with trigunatmak samskaras. In the sixth shlokam, he is stating the Sri Varaha Charama Shlokam, which has a very deep meaning. Here he mentions that in Varaha Avataram, where Bhagavan made a promise to Bhumi Devi that if his bhaktas offer themselves to him, when they have a healthy body and a tranquil mind during their youth, appodi kippove, if we can offer our Sharanagati, when they are unable and unconscious or very sick toward the end of their lives, Bhagavan himself will come. He will offer the Antim Smriti and he will take them with him. He is reminding the Lord of his promise. In the seventh shlokam, which is very auspicious and is recommended to be chanted every day, he addresses the Lord of Sri Rangam. He says, "You are known by several auspicious names: Tirunamangal, Ramadayitan, Rangabhuramanan, Krishnan, Vishnu, Hari, Trivikraman, Janardhanan, Triyuganathan, and Narayanan," which, when recited, these names produce the well-being of your bhaktas, and they are so powerful. They remove the fear of death and rebirth. So, where is the question of even fear of heaven or hell? In the 10th shlokam, he says that people, Chetana, who get trapped like a fish with bait in the sensual pleasures of material life, the people who digress from your bitter medicine, that is Tivra Aushadhat. What is a bitter medicine? It is his Upadesham, his advice. But even these people's fears can be removed with the compassion or daya of Tiruvarangan Perumal. In Shlokam 11, he says, "O Lord of Sri Rangam, it has been established that the possession of your weapons, that is Ayudham, they are all fruitless for you. They are just ornaments. Because he, that is Perumal, is totally free of fear from anyone or anything. So why is he bearing all these weapons?" It becomes clear that all these weapons he is holding to protect his bhaktas, and which is like protecting himself actually. In Shlokam 12, he says, "The wise mumukshus, the Sharanagatas, they derive the pleasure by enjoying the Lord's divine attributes, and they do it continuously. so that they are always in His grace. In the 14th Shlokam, he says, O Lord of Thiruvarangam, the thought of Swargam and Narakam, numerous rebirths, all the suffering during the cycles of samsaric lives, they cause the fear in the bhaktas. But you are the only one capable of removing these fears. In the 15th Shlokam, he reminds Thiruvaranga Prabhu, during Ramavataram, you made a promise. This was an eternal promise. And you said that anyone who surrenders to me, I will protect them. You granted Abhaya Pradhanam to people like Vibhishanan and Sugrivan who have surrendered to you. You are the Yathotakari. You promised to help the helpless. But you see, I am the most helpless. I am the biggest of the helpless people. So how can you not help me and remove my fear?
அபீதிஸ்தவம் எவ்வளவு முக்கியமான ஒரு ஸ்லோகம் சுவாமி தேசிகன் நம்ம எல்லாருக்கும் கொடுத்துருக்கார். எப்படியாப்பட்ட சூழ்நிலை அப்போ ஸ்ரீரங்கத்தில் இருந்தது. முகலாயர்களுடைய தாக்கத்திலேருந்து பெருமாளுடைய திருக்கோவிலையும் உற்சவரையும் காப்பாற்றுறதுக்காக எல்லாரும் எத்தனை விஷயங்கள் செஞ்சிருக்கா. அதை செய்யணுன்ற எண்ணம் கொடுத்தவனும் அவனே தான், செயல்படுத்தினவனும் அவனே தான். இப்படி ஒரு ஸ்லோகம் சுவாமி தேசிகன் நம்மளுக்கெல்லாம் கொடுக்கணும் அப்படின்றத உருவாக்கினவனும் அவனே தான். ரொம்ப அழகாக இருந்தது. உங்களுடைய அபீதிஸ்தவம் வரத்துக்கான காரணம் நீங்கள் கொடுத்ததும், சுவாமி தேசிகன் ஏன் அதை எழுதினார் அப்படின்னு சொன்னதும், ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்லோகத்துடைய எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷனும், வராக சரம ஸ்லோகம், ராமாவதாரத்தில் பெருமாள் எப்படி அனுகிரகம் பண்ணார், ரங்கநாதன் கிட்ட நம்மளுக்கு எப்படி அனுகிரகம் பண்ணணும்னு சுவாமி தேசிகன் கேட்குறார், எல்லாமே ரொம்ப நன்னா இருந்தது. தி நரேஷன் வாஸ் வெரி கிளியர். எங்கள் எல்லாருக்குமே ரொம்ப அழகாக புரிஞ்சுது. Thank you very much to Srimati Dr. Srividya Sathiyamoothy for such an amazing episode during Swami Desikan Thirunakshathra Utsavam. 15 ஸ்லோகத்துக்கு தான் நம்ம அர்த்தம் தெரிஞ்சுட்டு இருக்கோம். அதுக்கப்புறமா மிச்சம் இருக்கிற ஸ்லோகத்துடைய அர்த்தங்களை நம்ம நாளைக்கு கேட்க போகிறோம். இதோடைய தொடர்ச்சி நாளை மீண்டும் எல்லாரும் கண்டிப்பாக கேளுங்கோ. சுவாமி தேசிகன் திருநக்ஷத்திர உற்சவம் அபீதிஸ்தவம் நிகழ்ச்சியில் உங்கள் எல்லாரையும் மறுபடியும் நான் நாளைக்கு சந்திக்கிறேன். அது வரைக்கும் நமஸ்காரம்.